Hey everyone, it's Megan Crockart of Balancing Nutrition. Here I am with part 2 on soy. I've already done part 1 on a previous YouTube post. I've also got it on my website as an article. So I've got part 3 coming up. This part 2 is going to focus on the manufacture of soy. So let's go have a look at the manufacture of soy and whether actually the way that they process soy, whether that is a concern to our health or the actual soy itself. So to start off with, I'm going to talk about soy milk as it is one of the most consumed soy products worldwide. Interestingly, China originally didn't consume high levels of soy milk, and it was a product with limited processing. It was simply a water extract of whole soybeans containing all of the water-soluble proteins, most of the oil and carbohydrates that naturally occur in soybeans. The traditional process was made for daily consumption. So what they would do, the soybeans were washed, they were soaked overnight and ground to a slurry. Cold water was then added, and after a thorough mixing, the dilute slurry was strained through cheesecloth and pressed. The extract, which was the soy milk, was then boiled and strained again. So this was a heavy, gritty liquid with a strong beany flavour and a chalky mouthfeel. In the 1940s, Hong Kong started producing soy milk as a competitor for soft drink rather than milk, even bottling it in soft drink shaped bottles. And by 1974, sales had exceeded those of Coca-Cola in Hong Kong. I thought that was very interesting. So traditional soy milk didn't do so well in the West. The beany flavour just didn't appeal. There is now quite a lot of processing involved to have the taste and texture attract the Western consumer. To make it more appealing, the process can lose some of the protein and good fat content, so it's important to look at the organic brands that use whole soybeans in their products to ensure this loss of nutrients is minimal. Look for this on the label. So you actually want to look at the label at the ingredients, and the ingredients should state whole soybeans. If it doesn't, then it's not whole soybeans. Or you can even consider making your own soy milk, which you can do similar to making nut milks if you make those at home. And be aware that any other milk alternative does undergo similar processing, even when it comes to dairy milk, cow's milk. So commercially made dairy milk has a considerable amount of processing. There is much more focus on destroying bacteria when it comes to dairy milk, and this destruction can be a combination of heat treating and chemical treating. Also, the cows themselves can be exposed to a greater level of chemicals, not only from their food but from agricultural and veterinary exposures. Here again, organic, unhomogenized milk is important if you would prefer to stick to dairy milk. But back onto soy and soy processing. So soy sauce was the first processed soy product imported to the Western world in the 1770s. There is some processing involved as soy sauce is fermented. Regular soy sauce uses wheat in the fermentation process, so if you are wanting to avoid wheat, then tamari soy sauce is ideal. Also look for reduced salt varieties, as there can be a lot of salt added to soy sauce. Miso, which is a soybean paste, and tempeh are fermented soy products, with tempeh being considered one of a highly beneficial fermented food products. Tempeh is the only fermented soy product that doesn't have salt added to it, and interestingly, tempeh originated in Indonesia and Malaysia. Tofu, which is bean curd, can be fermented, but most commercial tofu products aren't. Tofu comes in a variety of textures, but it does start off in the same way that soy milk is processed. If you do want to enjoy soy with no processing at all, then edamame is for you. They're the green soybeans that you get fresh in the pod. In Australia, you can find them fresh. They're easier to find frozen, and you just steam them really briefly. Canned edamame beans are coming out now as well. And of course, any Japanese or sushi restaurant have them on the menu. So once again, my advice when it comes to soy products is definitely only organic or non-GMO soy products. read your label to make sure that the product contains whole soybeans if possible. So on my article on my website, I've put a really cool diagram of showing how soy products are processed. So if you're more of a visual person, go have a look at my website, balancingnutrition.com.au, look for my soy, what's the fuss about soy part 2 manufacture, and go check out that graph. That's really interesting. So overall, I feel that there is more proof that soy has health benefits and detriments. All food processing and manufacture techniques should be considered when you're looking at any packaged food. Everything's processed to some extent, so do your research. So part 3 is coming up, so check that out, and stay connected by my website or on social media. Megan Crocker, Balancing Nutrition. Thanks for listening.